This is Nick.
This is Jack.
Welcome back. It is Monday, May 5th, and today's pod, out of all the pods, is the best one yet. This is a T-Boy.
The top 3 pop business news stories you need to know today.
Announcing our live show in 60 seconds.
But first, our 3 stories.
Which are fantastic. What do we got, Jack?
For our first story, Formula One is the fastest growing sport in America, and it just had its hottest race of the year down in Miami.
Formula One sales are surging because of 28-year-old American women.
For our second story, get this. Microsoft just declared that it's killing the password once and for all.
Gone.
You can log in sans password.
Ding dong, the password is dead, baby.
And our third and final story. One company has found a creative way to turn tariff problems into a strength.
Mack Weldon just unveiled price-locked underwear through the 4th of July.
But Yetis, before we hit that wonderful mix of stories.
What a fantastic mix of stories to kick off the week, Jack.
Our first live show was in San Francisco. It was amazing. Then we did New York, which was huge. Then we did Seattle, which was very Pacific Northwest.
But our biggest live show yet is actually our deepest live show yet.
Yetis, prepare to hit the lake, feel the wind, and dig into some deep dish.
Because the best one yet is coming to Chicago.
We are doing a T-Boy Live Show in Chicago on July 23rd.
This is the biggest event to hit Chi-Town since Oprah.
The location is the Vic Theater.
Capacity, 1,000 seats.
The vibe, rock concert, but with fully audited financials.
Jack, we're putting up Michael Jordan numbers on this thing, baby.
Tickets go on sale this Wednesday, so follow us at TBoyPod on Instagram so you see the ticket drop first.
Bring your buddy, bring your office, loop in the whole loop while you're at it.
Because we're going to have 3 fantastic stories plus a surprise guest on stage at the Vic.
And we'll be whipping up takeaways like a young Ferris Bueller.
T-Boy Live does Chicago.
Because Chicago does logistics.
Tickets are on sale this Wednesday. Follow us to get those tickets first.
Hey, Midwest, you look fantastic.
Da Bears, da Bulls, da podcast.
Da 3 stories. Let's hit them, Jack. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
15 years before this song, 2 boys from the Northeast met in a dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is a norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your at-list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, Formula One just held its hottest race event of the year down in Miami.
But Formula One stock is near an all-time high, and it's all thanks to your 28-year-old little sister.
Now, Yetis, if your buddy Timmy called in sick today, it's because the Kentucky Derby, Cinco de Mayo, Star Wars Day,
May the 4th,
NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and Berkshire Hathaway shareholder conference all happened over the weekend.
and the Met Gala's today.
Yeah, but the biggest event last weekend, physically, was actually the newest event.
Formula One racing, Formula down in Miami, Florida.
As they pronounce it in Daytona. Formula 1, the most technical cars, the most expensive tickets, and a whole lot of drama this weekend down in Miami, Jack.
The Dutch racer Max Verstappen drives for Team Red Bull, but almost missed the Miami race because his baby was born just a couple days before.
Like literally right before. Oh, and then Ferrari unveiled a blue Ferrari car?
What?
Yeah.
Ferraris are red. That's the rule.
It's like an insult to Italy worse than pineapple on pizza, man.
Still, 2024 was a record year for Formula One. They generated nearly $4 billion in revenue.
Now, historically, Formula One racing has been ignored in America. This is NASCAR country. This is an indie world, baby.
But today, F1 is actually the fastest growing professional sport in the United States. Depends on the time frame, but along with pickleball and the WNBA, F1 is booming in America.
And here's what Jack and I find fascinating. Formula One is also a publicly traded business.
It was acquired 8 years ago by Liberty Media, and now the stock is near an all-time high.
But Jack, could you press on the pistons a bit and sprinkle on a little context to their $4 billion in Formula One revenue?
That's 4 times the revenue of NASCAR.
Okay.
It's almost as much as the NHL.
Wow.
And it's half as much as the NBA.
But honestly, it's even more impressive when you consider that Formula One only is 24 races a year.
They're called Grand Prix, not races.
Oui, Jack.
Still, 24 Grand Prix, compare that to 1,230 basketball games played in the NBA every season.
So what we're saying is that each Formula One racing event is really a profit puppy.
It's like a mini Olympics. It takes over the entire city for a whole weekend.
Get this, the Miami Grand Prix yesterday got 25% more in ticket revenue for Miami's Hard Rock Stadium, where they do the race around, than all the Miami Dolphin football home games combined.
You better call an audible, Dan Marino, because racing is taking over Miami.
One race was equal to 8 football games in revenue.
And it's the third race in the United States. There's also one in Austin, and there's also one in Las Vegas.
Now, besties, it is Netflix who we can thank for growing the F1 fan base. Their reality show during the pandemic brought more fans and more sponsors to the sport.
Especially in the United States. But F1 just struck a $1 billion sponsorship deal with Louis Vuitton.
That's right, the handbag company is now sponsoring the sports cars.
F1 also just got a $450 million check from America's Cadillac.
Because Cadillac wants to be the 11th Formula One racing team, so they had to pay a fee in order to enter.
And they join the circuit next year.
But the most valuable part of the Formula One business model is
TV.
Yeah, it's broadcasting.
Like with every sport. Our bet, Netflix is going to buy the rights, which expire next year.
Interesting.
And turn F1 into a globally streamable, like glitzy kind of show with a halftime event. Rihanna's going to be there. Yeah.
And Lady Gaga singing half.
There's no halftime in racing, but I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I'm sure they will change the sport for that money, Jack. But the wildest part about F1's business model is actually who's behind it.
Nick and I jumped in T-Boy style to the earnings report from F1 last quarter. Female fans and fans under 30 are both up 50% for F1 in the past 5 years.
That's right. Your 28-year-old little sister is who's driving growth at Formula One.
But I'll be honest, even I'm attracted to the racers in Formula One. Have you seen how chiseled those chins are?
Max, don't Verstappen at all. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Formula One?
F1 has mainstreamified the VIP section.
Yetis, here's the irony. Formula One is the only mainstream luxury sport, yeah, that's a contradiction, that we can find. Polo, sailing, those aren't mainstream.
But F1 is mainstream, even though it's the glitziest of all the sports in the whole world. Nick, most Grand Prix have their circuits viewable by yacht.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Monaco on the south coast of France, that's the most famous F1 face track.
And yet, luxurious F1 is watched by 1 billion fans. It is also the fastest growing pro sport in America.
And most of those billion fans do not own yachts.
So Formula One, it is sponsored by David Yurman Jewelry and Brunello Cucinelli's fancy clothing, and yet it's also sponsored by Puma and Adidas.
How does F1 pull it off? Such a wide, diverse spectrum of both fans and sponsors. It's strategic about what it keeps exclusive.
So Formula One limits itself to only 24 races, only 10 teams, and only 20 drivers.
But it scales the media part. 100 million followers on social media, and it's broadcast globally on TV.
So besties, Formula One is at an all-time high because it pulled off a contradiction Hermes never could.
It's mainstreamified the VIP section.
For our second story, Sam Altman, Microsoft, and Tinder basically just killed the password.
The future is passwordless.
Yes, it is.
Because we are so incredibly bad at keeping secure passwords.
Now, Yetis, if I know Jack, there are few things he loves more than a good game of trivia all the time. So, Jack, what was the trivia question? I know you asked 50 people, including your family and like the waiter at a restaurant.
This is such a good hero stat. What percent of login attempts in America are successful? In other words, Nick, what percent of the time after entering your username and your password and clicking enter, what percent of the time are you successful and you actually get into your account?
Okay, so Jack, according to Microsoft, what's the answer?
32%.
That's
only
it.
32% of the time are you successful logging in.
Like only 1 out of 3 times are you getting your own password right.
The other 2/3 of the time, you push login and it says wrong username or password.
Please try again.
Yetis, using logged in accounts online faces amazing friction and so much wasted time from all of those failed logins.
Plus, Jack, we haven't even discussed the insecure passwords.
It's true that the #1 password in America is password.
Yeah, that's also a good trivia fact.
So it's not a matter of if your password will get stolen. It's a question of when.
Even if you included 3 exclamation points, 2 hashtags, a number sign, and 6 capital letters.
Because get this, due to all the hacks that have happened to like every company ever. Right now, according to a digital risk protection company, there are 24 billion usernames and passwords available on the dark web for like 10 cents each.
So criminals, they know your parents' passwords, even if your parents still don't know their own passwords.
When your parents text you, what's my own password? It's like,
I'm getting a call. It's my mom. She wants to know the password to her Wi-Fi jack. So besties, all of us internet-using humankind should come to welcome this shocking news that just came out.
Microsoft announced on Friday they are phasing out the password altogether.
And we repeat, anyone who sets up a new Microsoft account will not be asked to create a password.
Just give us your phone number or your email instead, and then select your pass key.
Yeah, Microsoft stock was up 9% last week. It wasn't because of this, but like...
It wasn't not because of this. What the heck is a pass key though, Nick?
Yeah, what is a pass key? I was going to ask you.
A pass key is proof that you are you because you're already logged into something else.
Yeah, here's the example we came up with. If you're already using your iPhone, then you had to use a passcode or Face ID to unlock that iPhone.
So with a Microsoft account, you can say Face ID is my pass key. And as long as you're using your phone, you can log into any Microsoft account. They know that you are you.
Other passcode options are Android's fingerprint sensor, Gmail, or using a password manager.
Basically, if you're logged into your phone, your computer, or your Gmail, that's enough. You can log into anything else as well.
And if all else fails in this password purged era, you can always request a login link to your phone or your email.
That's the future. And it's not just Microsoft.
No.
Apple, Google, they're both moving in this direction too. Every big tech player wants to kill the password.
They're going full Napoleon on the password, guillotining the passwords out there. There's no chance to live.
Second French reference in 2 stories, I think.
Not possible. Make it 3.
Because Yetis, virtually every person in America has an account with at least one of those 3 companies. So all of us are going to be able to start going password free.
The password. It's going to go the ranks of other retired tech products, Jack. Floppy disks, screen names, Clippy. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies who are everyone with a password?
The future of ID is ID.
As in E-Y-E.
As in eyeballs.
So, Yetis, there was one other big password piece of news last week we noticed. Sam Altman's eye scanning startup.
It's called World. And World set up 6 retail locations last week to scan people's eyeballs for their registry.
Now, Sam Altman's World also partnered with Tinder and Visa, so your eye scan will verify that you are, in fact, a human.
Tinder will soon validate that that guy who's too good to be true is a real person, and they'll do it by checking his eyeballs.
Well, why is there this surge in eye scans? It's because in an AI world, robots can solve those security checks that test if you're a robot. They can beat them.
So instead of a CAPTCHA test to verify you're a human, what we really need is proof of human.
So besties, add it all up, and right now we are entering the password-free era.
But 5 years from now, when humanoid robots are trying to log into your Tinder account,
well, then the future of ID is ID.
Eventually, it's all coming to the eyeballs.
Hey Yetis, if you're a bestie, take a sec and hit that subscribe button.
And like this video while you're at it. If you leave a comment, by the way, we'll read it.
For our third and final story, Mack Weldon's men's underwear just put a price lock on their undies until July 4th.
They've turned tariffs into a marketing opportunity, and we will explain how.
Now, Yetis, you know Jack and I have been keeping track of recession indicators for you.
Recession brunette, skipping Botox treatments, bringing bagged lunches to work more often. None of those are good indicators for the economy.
No. But the oldest alternative economic indicator is the men's underwear index.
If men are so pinched that they're not buying new briefs, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, guess what? Former Fed Chairman Alan Greenspan, he actually coined this whole underwear observation.
He observed that nobody sees your underwear selection except the man who's wearing them and maybe their locker room neighbors.
So if men aren't buying new underwear and they're wearing underwear with a bunch of holes in them, it means they're not feeling pretty good about their money right now.
So it's an interesting case study when we look at the direct-to-consumer men's brand, Mack Weldon, who sells underwear.
Mack Weldon, a underwear brand that's between MeUndies and Calvin Klein on the coolness scale. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess I'd agree with you on that.
Yeah, it's like the Lulu for dudes.
And like most of your wardrobe, Mack Weldon is facing 145% tariffs on the stuff they source from China and 10% tariffs on everywhere else.
So besties, everyone right now is worried about prices, price hikes because of tariffs. When will they happen? When will they stop? Who knows how much?
Not at Mack Weldon, though. Prices aren't hiking at Mack Weldon, and the timing of their no price change is very clear.
Get this, Mack Weldon announced a price lock on all their underwear.
Not a single pair will have a price increase until at least July 4th.
We have not seen any other apparel company do this, boxers or briefs. It's like a call option in finance applied to the top drawer of your dresser.
We have seen Ford do something similar. They announced employee pricing on cars, and their deal also lasts through July 4th.
Now, besties, tariffs are coming. Not raising these underwear prices is going to hurt their underwear profit margins.
But maybe it'll boost their sales.
In fact, it already has. Mack Weldon's underwear sales actually jumped 90% in the month ending April 15th.
So Mack Weldon is sacrificing some profit margin to gain loyalty at a painful economic moment.
And it looks like it's selling. Men are buying up their male panties over at Mack Weldon.
Male panty. I'm sorry.
You know what? It's a new term. I just came up with it. Let's roll with it, Jack.
Yeah, but I hate the female version of the term too.
Well, I'm not saying it's going to work, but let's just, you just put stuff out there sometimes. So, besties, every company in this economy is weakened by tariffs, but Mack Weldon has turned that into a strength.
And you probably tossed a tank top and some trousers into your cart too, not just the underwear.
So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies who are everyone affected by tariffs?
Sometimes you need to go opposite day on everybody.
Yetis, last week we told you the number one theme in the economy right now. Uncertainty.
Uncertainty was mentioned a record number of times in economic surveys and in corporate earnings reports.
But the success of Mack Weldon's underwear price lock is that it did the opposite.
Instead of uncertainty around prices, they gave a very certain price.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a reminder that if you notice everyone around you just doing the same thing...
It's easy to do that thing too.
Yeah.
There's safety in the herd. Nobody's going to isolate you and say, what the heck are you doing?
But it is in those moments that opportunity lies in doing the opposite.
Call opposite day.
Call it opposite day. Jack, can you whip up the takeaways for us to kick off the week?
Formula One just finished a race in Miami. It's the fastest growing sport in the United States.
Because Formula One mainstreamified the VIP section. VIP, very important public.
That was pretty good. For our second story, Microsoft announced last week that new accounts don't need passwords. Use a pass key instead.
Password is dead, but Sam Altman thinks the future of ID in an AI world is ID.
Like eyeballs. And our third and final story. Mack Weldon announced no price hikes on underwear through July 4th.
When everyone else is doing the same,
raising prices because of tariffs,
there's opportunity in doing the opposite.
But Yetis, this pod's not over yet. Here's what else you need to know today.
First, on a good jobs report and trade war resolution hopes, the S&P 500 rose for a 9th straight day on Friday.
177,000 jobs were added to our economy in April, despite the trade war volatility.
And China also acknowledged for the first time potential talks with America on trade.
Add it all up, 9 straight days of gains for the S&P 500 is the longest streak since 2004.
All those losses from Liberation Day have now been erased.
Second, last week, Apple got eviscerated by a federal judge for failing to comply with a court order.
Epic Games and Spotify had been on a crusade to end Apple's 30% app tax, what they charge these apps in the App Store.
And it looks like it finally happened. You can now subscribe to Spotify directly from an iPhone and not pay an app tax.
After Apple got ripped by a judge, Spotify now has a link in their app so you can avoid the App Store toll booth.
And finally, ConAgra, the big food company, just sold Chef Boyardee last week for $600 million to a PE firm.
Now, the founder of the soup brand, Chef Boyardee, was a renowned chef who worked at the Plaza Hotel in New York City.
He was a real Italian chef. Then he Americanized the spelling of his name to become a mass-market canned soup and pasta company.
Now that it's owned by private equity, they're probably gonna, water down some of the ingredients in the soups.
Yeah, they're gonna cut costs. So the can of mini raviolis, it's probably gonna be even minier raviolis now.
Spaghetti and meatballs is gonna be spaghetti and meatball.
Yeah.
Now time for the best fact yet. This one sent in by Molly G from lovely Philadelphia.
Speaking of Formula One racing, we told you about that race in Monaco with all the yachts.
Well, Monaco in Europe is actually a country, one of the smallest countries on earth.
Yeah, I said it was in the south of France. It's actually its own little thing. Like, there's checkpoints.
But Monaco is actually smaller than Central Park in New York City.
Here's the breakdown. Monaco is less than 1 square mile of land.
Central Park?
And it's a country.
A little more than 1 square miles of land.
Monaco. It's basically the Vatican City of the non-Catholic world. Because Vatican City is like its own country.
Jack, I think you stuck the landing on it. Yetis, you look fantastic today, especially if you're over in the Midwest in Chicago. You look extra fantastic.
We are so freaking pumped for July 23rd.
It's going to be incredible. Amazing.
We're going to a Cubs game the day after our performance, by the way.
And maybe before as well. Yetis, we are dropping the tickets right here on Wednesday. But in the meantime, follow us on Instagram so you can get your tickets first at TBOY Pod.
And Nick and I will see you tomorrow.
Celebrate the wins. Can't wait. And before we go, a happy birthday to the legendary Yeti NEZ over in Toronto, Maple Leaf, Toronto.
And happy birthday to Uramine Josel in Henderson, Nevada. This married dink is celebrating a Napa this weekend.
Popping that Pinot. And Matt Sharatana is turning 36 years old over in Seattle. Spent the birthday rock climbing on belay. Belay on that birthday, Matt.
Happy birthday to Sterling Salzberg in San Francisco. His birthday was yesterday. He's on his way to Maui with a family of 4 right now.
And Chase in Virginia just got married in Ponte Vedra, Florida. Now they are honeymooning, guys. Let's see some pics. Congratulations on the celebration.
Congratulations to Lindsay Ardiff and Ainsley Foe, who had a wedding reception last weekend.
Congratulations, guys. You look fantastic. And Anna Wintour, just as a heads up, no pressure at all. Jack and I got our tuxes ready, so just wink twice if we're good to go.
Big night on the red carpet. If there's room for 2 T-boys, hit us up.
We've been traveling. We haven't seen our mail, so yeah, thanks for the invite.
This is Jack. Nick and I both own stock of Apple and Spotify. I own stock of Netflix, and we both own ETFs of the S&P 500.